A showdown at City Hall over police transparency. Mayor Eric Adams vetoed the How Many Stops bill last week, which requires police to file paperwork on level 1 police stops. But the city council speaker is leading the charge to override the mayor's decision.
Despite being less than half of the city's population, Black and Latino New Yorkers make up 97% of those stopped on a daily basis.
I'm willing to sign a bill that the entire bill, the way they have it, if you remove and modify the level 1, those credible stops mean any stop that an officer makes in his inquiries that is not only dealing with law enforcement, but just his basic interaction with the public.
The city council expected to take up the issue again in a few weeks, which is setting the stage now for an even bigger battle between elected officials, the mayor, and the NYPD. Joining us this morning is attorney Christine Rivera with the Bronx Defenders and Samy Feliz, whose brother Alan was shot and killed during an NYPD traffic stop in 2019. So good morning to both of you, and thank you for being here to talk about this important topic. And Christine, let me begin with you, because as an attorney, right, you hear firsthand from your clients about interactions that they have with police, whether good or bad here. So where do you stand really when you look at the How Many Stops Act and and how it reads right now?
So I took part in actually some of the drafting language of the How Many Stops Act. So it's common sense legislation. This is also not something that just started right now, right? This dates back to 2013 with all the stop and frisk lawsuits and the implementation of a federal monitor. And so we're looking at these reports, we're looking at the data, and this is what we came up with, right? The fact is, we're going into 11 years now after a federal monitor was in place to oversee the NYPD's actions in our community, and we're seeing the same exact disparities. And it's harming our clients, right, in the Bronx at least, that I can speak to. And so we are major supporters of this legislation. It's really just asking for transparency. We're asking for data. The way in which we were able to make get those victories back in 2013 was because of the data, because of the statistics. We were able to show what was actually happening and then address the issue so that we can find solutions. And that's exactly what we're trying to do here, is get that data.
Okay.
And Samy, I'm curious to know, do you think that this How Many Stops bill, or if it became law, could have saved your brother Alan's life? Because you've been very vocal about what happened to him and advocating for finding justice for his.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been a step in the right direction. If the bill would have been passed prior to my brother losing his life, it would have gave a second thought to these officers to making an illegal stop or a stop that would have not been merited, knowing in the back of their minds that they would have to document every single stop that they would make, whether it was a low-level or a high-level stop.
Because what exactly happened to your brother?
He was stopped on false pretenses of not wearing his seatbelt, and the video shows, or the body cam shows, that he was wearing his seatbelt. That interaction with the officers should have stopped at that moment, but we see that in a minute or 2-minute interaction with these officers, it led to my brother's demise.
And I want to talk about what a level is in terms of level 1, level 2, level 3, right? Because you heard the mayor in that soundbite right there say that he would like the bill if it didn't include level 1 stop. So a level 1 basic interaction between officers and the community, not necessarily involving police stops, right? So he was saying if anybody just asks for help, there has to be paperwork filed here. So do you think there's a benefit to filing paperwork for a level 1 stop?
Absolutely, and I speak from personal experience of having represented someone who was stopped, illegally stopped. A judge found that he was illegally stopped and actually found that they could not credit this officer's testimony because it directly contradicted his body-worn camera. Right? And so that was a level 1 stop. The judge said he acted and stopped and frisked my client as a level 3, but the judge found that he only had enough information available to him to execute a level 1. And it's not really a stop. When we're really talking about language, it's called an investigative encounter. And it does not include basic conversations. And I know this because we drafted language in the statute that says this term does not include casual conversations. This can be found on the New York City Council website. It's number 17. It's in the language of the bill. We made it so abundantly, so clear. And I think that's what is so frustrating, because to hear him say these things when we heard his concerns and we listened to them and we applied them, and now we're he's misleading the public.
Right, so what's happening is the public advocate saying, well, look, if somebody were to approach a police officer and say, can I get directions? That they don't have to file paperwork. But the
No.
mayor's saying they do have
That
to
they
file
do.
the paperwork.
Exactly, right. And we made it, it's in the statute. I really encourage people to look at it. It's only about 2 pages long, which is very short in the legal world. But it truly does state very blatantly, this term does not include casual conversation. So they can go play with kids, ask, you know, for directions and whatnot.
Christine, before we let you go, we did want to ask you on a different topic here. We wanted you to weigh in on the charges that were brought against NYPD Sergeant Eric Duran and then the death of Eric Dupre. So the most serious charge of second-degree manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide, they were both. Well, what do you think that it is right now? Do you think this is a sign that police are going to be held more accountable for any interactions and what happens with them and somebody that they pull over? Or?
Right. So typically, just because it's an open case in the same criminal house that I actually work in, we don't typically comment on cases that we're not involved in. But what I will say is I think this does reflect the lack of training in the NYPD and the fact that the mayor and the NYPD commissioner both condemned this action of officers lets us know that there is work that needs to be done and that the actions of the NYPD can actually cause grave harm to this community.
All right. Well, Samy and Christine, thank you both for being here this morning to talk about this.